Hello, my name is Tara Kachaturoff, and I'm the host of Michigan Entrepreneur, where we feature businesses from startup to stellar. This week we have as our special guest David Moncoeur of Moncoeur Associates, the business communication experts located in Troy, Michigan. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're really excited to have you on as a guest today because you're going to be talking about the subject of branding. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about Moncoeur Associates?
All right, Moncoeur Associates. Well, we call ourselves the business communication experts, and individually we are thought leaders and creatives and strategists, programmers, designers, interactive and PR specialists. But together, we bring all those skills, we integrate them together to help our clients build business. And what we do sort of manifests itself in lots of different ways. As you can imagine, thinkers and creatives and strategists, we help with people developing messaging where they might decide how it is they're going to talk about themselves and how it is they're going to promote what it is they do. We help them with the implementation of those things, whether it's design, sales materials or websites or PR plans. Every different person on that team does something that becomes a part of a communication program, which helps someone ultimately sell what it is they do.
And what you're doing is different than marketing per se, right?
It is. Marketing is a little different than what it is we focus on. People might think of us as a branding or advertising type of agency, but those sorts of firms focus on the delivery, where we focus more on the communication before the delivery. So in branding, you think very hard about what your brand is going to be and what your message is going to be, and then you turn toward the delivery, which is marketing or advertising or something like that.
So what you're doing is really more foundational with the company before they go to the next step, because they have to get really clear on who they are.
That's right, absolutely. It's we believe the core of business development is communication, and then those other different specialties or mediums are just the delivery vehicles.
And you're doing, like you said, you have thought leaders, creatives, strategists, you have technical people on your staff. How did you go about finding these types of people to bring them all together to create this? And of course, it all has to work together in some really well orchestrated presentation. How'd you do all that?
How did we put them together? Our team, it's really funny, when you look at us, you'd never put us together in a room. The people that can actually do those jobs and be experts, they're not like each other. They do like each other, but they're not like each other, if that makes sense. So I started building the team originally designed specifically to do certain things. For a long time in the beginning of our existence, we did creative work, design work and very basic fundamental brand identity work. We developed logos and identities and sales collateral and things like that. And we had a team that was designed to do that. And pretty soon the internet came onto the scene and we began to add technical staff and things like that. And then as everything got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we realized the focus ought to be on this communication piece and not just the delivery of the communication, then we started bringing on the real thinkers and the strategists and the writers and things like that, so that we could function more strategically with our clients, more focused on that message.
Now, when you're taking a client through this, I mean, you can start with a brand new, like somebody who's brand new in their business, and also, of course, you work on rebranding people. Can you explain how you might start with somebody who's just on the scene? They're a new entrepreneur, new product or service. You work with those folks as well, correct?
Absolutely. In fact, that's where our company began. When we first started our business, it was over a decade ago in Northern California. And we were a startup kit for entrepreneurial ventures, which there were a lot of in Northern California at that time.
Were you in Silicon Valley?
We were, in fact, in a little town called Los Gatos. A beautiful place. Yes. So anyhow, what we did was, when you got your first round venture funding and you had a little bit of seed capital to go out and hire the resources that you need to get your company off the ground, we were a part of that kit. And we did everything creative in terms of developing the brand and the identity and the message that would sell what you did. And so we're very, very familiar with what it takes to bootstrap an organization into existence. And that, of course, grew to a point where our clients got much bigger than that. And now we have a whole range of different customers, some that are very small, that are just getting started. And we understand exactly, I don't want to say the minimum, but exactly what they need to get out the door and begin doing business. And then we also have huge clients, Fortune 500 companies who have focused initiatives within divisions of divisions of divisions, and we can help them initiate a branding campaign to achieve a specific goal as well.
So you can do basically A to Z, soup to nuts with a brand new person coming out, like, I don't even know where to start, and you help them get that start and help them unearth that identity.
Yeah, you know, it's really funny. A lot of people look at what you would do for a small company and what you would do for a big company as being very different. And really, when you break it down, this process of branding and communication is universal. And whether you're tiny and your clients are little local organizations, or you're a global entity and your clients are all over the place, that process of defining your message, intelligently getting it across to a person in a way that will make them listen and then act on what it is you're talking about, that process is the same. The amount of work that it takes to do it is much greater for a big organization, but the exact same, you know, skill set and the exact same thought process applies to both.
Let's talk a little bit about branding. I know people buy name brand goods, they know what that means, and people know like what a brand evokes inside them on an emotional level, like when they hear Ralph Lauren or Cadillac or Disneyland or even Oprah. She's a brand in and of herself.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain a little bit for maybe people who are not as familiar with what branding is and how it's important, or why it's important to anybody and everybody today?
Sure. A brand, a company's brand, is the sum total of all the perceptions anyone has about that company. And branding is the art or the science, however you want to look at it, of creating an experience around a company, a story, if you will. When you think about Ralph Lauren, you immediately have a vision. And if you feel you want to, you know, if you're compelled to be a part of that vision, then you're also compelled to buy their products.
Absolutely.
It's a psychology game, right? And so what we do is we try and work with companies to define their story in a way that speaks to their customers' concerns or pains or desires. And when you can create that experience that addresses that thing they're looking for, you've created a brand. And when you've created that brand, it's a very, very compelling method of selling what it is people do.